Hello, everybody. Good to see you again. And today we're going to talk about a really frustrating thing that so many of my patients go through. It's hitting a weight loss plateau and they can't figure out what they're doing wrong, right? So you put all this effort into losing weight, but then you hit this plateau or maybe you gain some weight. Well, we're going to talk about the main reasons that might be occurring and what to do about it. And these are some counterintuitive things that most people don't think about, but I have 10 of them or 9 of them. Let me jump to my notes. Okie dokie. Here we go. All right. Like I said, I know this can be frustrating, and I'll get so many patients. They're like, why is so and so able to lose weight and I can't? Or I was doing so well and now I'm doing nothing. I'm doing everything right. I can't cut back on any more calories. Literally, these are the things that I've heard over and over again for many, many years that I've been seeing patients. So, seriously, you just might be feeling stuck after maybe the initial success in your weight loss journey. You've been, like I said, diligently following every traditional diet, exercise regimen that comes across your maybe your social media feed. You're doing everything right, but suddenly it grinds to a halt and there's nothing else that you can do. It's like, so frustrating, right? So along the plateau, you also might feel fatigued, right? Maybe you're cutting your calories so much, you feel uncontrollable cravings for sweets or refined carbohydrates, and even finding it difficult to focus. Maybe you recently went through menopause and you're like, what is going on? Like your body is like your enemy suddenly. Well, I want to know, I know you're striving for more, right? And I know you want to break through the plateau and to really reach in your ideal weight so you feel good and confident in your body and you can do the things that you're really wanting to do. But more than that, I think you want more energy, because honestly, I think energy is like, it's like currency, right? It's like money. The more energy you have, the more ability and excitement you have to go do the things that you really want to do. And so that's just really important. Stable moods, better sleep, stopping the cravings, all of that. So, what are some of the reasons this might be occurring, right? Why are you having these challenges that, well, there's a few critical things that I think some are overlooked factors. First thing is called, number one is called adaptive thermogenesis. So, naturally, the body will adapt to a lower calorie intake by slowing down your metabolic rate, right? Which can really halt or slow down significantly your weight loss progress. Um, Also, improper macronutrient balance, right? So, not adjusting your macronutrients to fit your specific activity level, you're keeping lean muscle, which is your metabolic furnace. Maybe you're losing muscle mass and fat mass at the same time. That can be an issue. And then also, I think there's some overlooked lifestyle factors that we really don't understand how much that can impact your overall metabolic health. And stress is a big one, not enough sleep, and gut issues, right? So, just there's so many things that we think we can get away with, like cutting out a few hours of sleep, going to bed a little bit later, watching one more Netflix, like those automatic series that play. Trust me, you're not the only one that's fallen victim. I will raise my hand and say, absolutely fallen victim to that. But with all of that, well, what can you do? Well, I have some counterintuitive strategies for you. Number one, I really want you to think about insulin resistance. So if you have insulin resistance, or if you've been struggling, with this weight loss, and it just kind of grinds to a halt. If you're hitting menopause, right? So many of my patients will see a shift, not only in, let's say, their cholesterol panel, but their blood sugar levels, their weight is expanding, and they just can't figure out, they're doing everything the same, but things have changed. So there's some hormonal shifts that are occurring. And menopause absolutely increases your risk for insulin resistance. And as many of you know, I love to talk about insulin resistance because it's such a cool thing, not a cool thing. It's a really interesting way to approach not only weight loss, but your overall metabolic health. And so what we're going to talk about is how to reverse that insulin resistance. And if you're overweight and already struggling, more than likely you have the beginnings of insulin resistance or already dealing with it, especially if you've noticed blood sugar is increasing, your cholesterol levels have been wonky, you've been told you have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Let me tell you some things to think about. Number one, which I know is going to seem counterintuitive, but embracing healthy whole plant food fat sources, such as nuts and seeds and avocados. Yes, we want to take those in moderation, but there's really amazing when you look at the glycemic index of these foods, it's like very low. And this will keep your insulin response low and it helps with satiation. The nuts and seeds are also full of protein. Again, there's going to be a moderated amount of these, but they can significantly shift you in the right direction. So many of my patients are fat phobic. And again, we have to understand there's a different way, there's different types of fats, but these are very good ones. They also, nuts and seeds come with wonderful minerals and things that you may not get from other plant sources. And so I really wanted to highlight that piece. Next is increasing your fiber-rich carbohydrates. Yes, I said carbohydrates. Yes, you know I push a plant-based diet, so it's full of carbs anyway. But for those of you who are new to this, we're talking about fiber here. So legumes and whole grains can really help slow down the absorption of your blood sugar so you don't get that insulin spike. So remember, elevated insulin levels, especially chronically, are weight promoting, right? So if you have this elevated insulin level, that is really making it hard for you to lose weight. And if you inject insulin, you might have noticed that, man, when I started using insulin, suddenly I've gained a lot of weight. Perfect example, had a patient just this week. He was on previously over 40 units of insulin. Within 3 weeks of increasing plants, we were able to stop all of his insulins, and his blood sugar is better now off of 40 plus units of insulin than it was with all that medication. And I have other stories, patients who embrace this type of eating, stopping 60 units of insulin in 72 hours. Yes, you'll see prediabetes reverse itself in 30 days. So anyway, increasing fiber, guys. We walk around in a fiber deficient world. Let's go. Next would be intermittent fasting or time restricted feeding. And it's not really about eating less, but maybe about the timing of your meals. If you look at the research, if you eat more in the morning, so eat like a king in the morning, a queen at lunch, and a pauper at night, you will find that your metabolic health improves. There is some interesting science behind that, but I did want to highlight that for you as well. So you might want to consider that. In addition, you really want to prioritize quality sleep. Sleep is so crucial to your overall health. There's a reason we spend a third of our lives, we should be sleeping a third of our lives asleep. And really want to try to make sure at least that you're asleep between that 11 and 4 a.m., 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. There's some interesting things with circadian rhythms, again, with our metabolism, and making sure you're not eating at least 3 hours before bedtime. So there's some things there. Sleep is a big, big one. And then really thinking about reducing meal frequency. If you're doing a lot of snacking or if you're eating frequently throughout the day, that really does increase your insulin, right? So if you think about you're eating food, your insulin stays elevated. So gives your body a chance to rest and digest. And so fewer meals, maybe you go down to 2, but definitely, if you're at 3, that's okay. But thinking about all the snacking and grazing that you're doing through the day, are you really hungry? Maybe you need to bulk up on your meals and give your body a chance again. Let that insulin come on down. Next is incorporating, if you can, physically can, high intensity interval training. The cool thing about this really boosts your muscles' glucose uptake of blood sugars, right? So that'll also make you more insulin sensitive and your insulin will decline. But any type of exercise or movement will do this, but high intensity will get you there with a little bit less time investment. So if you're really in a time crunch. So there's some things there to consider. For example, I will often have patients, if they've been eating and they're seeing trends going up in their blood sugar, because I like to use CGMs on people who have no diabetes, been told they had diabetes, pre-diabetes, insulin resistant, just curious. I am a fan of prescribing CGMs. And since I am licensed in all 50 states and DC, I can do that for people. But I regress. Let's go back here. But the interesting is if you see blood sugars winding up, you can go for just a 10-15 minute gentle walk and you'll see blood sugars decline. Yes, it's amazing. Next, you might want to add vinegar to your meals. I would make sure, please, to dilute that in at least 2 to 4 ounces of water, or at least put it in your food. That can, because of the acid, you want to be very mindful of your esophagus linings. But anyway, what that does is it slows the digestion of carbohydrates, which can help with that insulin spike. Next is managing stress and mindfulness and meditation. I literally could talk about this for hours. It's one of my favorite subjects. Mindfulness practices have literally changed my life, especially in the last year. And I love talking about it, guys. So again, mindfulness practices is so incredible. It just changes your entire outlook of life. Stresses aren't so much stresses anymore. Lots of things to do that. So mindfulness apps, meditation. I'm less in the meditation myself, but I love to do like mindful walks every morning. It really sets my intention for the day, and it just can really shift your whole outlook. And when you're seeing things in a more positive light, more positive things just seem to flow. That's all I can say on that. Next is really, this is kind of fun. I know there's a lot of this going around, is the cold exposure, but that really can activate brown fat, which can help with your glucose metabolism. Me personally, I will do cold water. I splash cold water on my face since I was a kid, but full self-immersion, I haven't joined that yet. I should. I've been told you could do the shower thing, but for those of you who are a little bit more brave, try it out. It might be helpful, but the brown fat is a different type of fat than the other fat that stores fat for energy. And on occasion, there might be some supplements that might be helpful. Again, I'm not a big fan of pushing supplements, but ones that I've seen to help with insulin resistance are like berberine or amla powder. Again, typically you want to make sure that and check in with your healthcare provider that something that might be there. So really, that's kind of it. So really, by adopting some unconventional, strategies, you really can address insulin resistance from multiple angles, right? Not only enhancing your weight management, but your overall health. And I'm really excited. I put together a free masterclass that you can see the link below wherever you're located. And it's where I go over the 5 steps to mastering your metabolism and losing weight. I also talk about the 4 biggest mistakes people do in their weight loss journey, and we talk about how to overcome them. So I hope you'll check it out. It's free. Again, the link is somewhere around here. And this was born out of months and months of working with patients all about, glucose metabolism, insulin resistance, weight loss. And we also talk a lot about your cholesterol levels and how that can be impacted by insulin resistance. Put it all together. Anyway, this free masterclass, I hope you check it out. 5 steps to mastering your metabolism and losing weight. So I hope to see you there, but I will be back again later, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And as always, thank you for your time. And I'm sending you peace, joy, and love and healing, because we all need more of that. So have a good day, everyone. Bye.